So I'm just going to go ahead and read, and so this is chapter 12, section 7, looking within, paragraph 7. So this is looking within part 2. So the author says, I said before that what you project or extend is up to you. But you got to do one or the other. You're going to either project or you're going to extend, because that is a law of mind. And you must look in before you look out. So before I have seen anything out there, I had to have looked within first and decided which guide for seeing I was going to choose. Okay, so before, does he say, before you must look in before you look out. Wow, isn't that interesting? That before the experience of perception, visual, or any kind of perception occurs, I looked within and decided what I wanted to see. So then he says, and as you look in, you choose the guide for seeing, and then you look out and see the witnesses of the guide for seeing. Wow. And he says, so this is the law of perception. So he's telling you how perception works. The law of perception is this. First, you look within and you decide who you want to listen to, which voice, love or fear. And then after that, you look out and then you see the witnesses to which guide you chose. The law of perception, the mechanics of perception. And it's the only way to change what you see is to understand how what you see came into your perception, into your perceptual field. And so according to this, it's never an accident what you see or what you perceive. It's never an accident. In this case, perception is projection. Wow. That's a little radical, isn't it? That's a lot radical, huh? You telling me that I can't see something or hear something without having decided first what I wanted to see and hear? That's pretty radical. Radical responsibility. But the truth is that if you want to change what you see, you don't like what you see, and you don't like what you're hearing, that's the only way to change it. That's the only way to change it. Wow. All right. So then he says, this is why you find what you seek. I find what? I find what I seek. Now, what you want in yourself, in other words, you will make manifest. And then you'll accept it from the world because you put it there by wanting it. Wow. Okay. So if that is true, then I must want a good bit of chaos and disaster and disunity and pain, right? So that's the challenging part about this curriculum, is that you have to at some point go, if it's there because I wanted it and I put it there by my wanting it, and that's why I see it and that's why I'm hearing it, I must have a split mind, meaning there must be part of me that wants to be afraid, that wants to be angry. All right. So we're on paragraph 7. This is why you find what you seek, and what you want in yourself you will make manifest, and you will accept it from the world because you put it there by wanting it. So, what are you seeing in your world tonight? What are you seeing in your world tonight? How's your world looking to you? How's your world looking to you? What are you seeing in your world tonight? What would you like to see in your world tonight? That's an even better question. What would you like to see in your life tonight?
Oh, wow.
Apparently, I'd like to see you.
Yes.
Because there you are.
That's for one thing, but I had a little something else in mind.
Oh, of course you did. So if there's discomfort in the recognition that, hey, what's in my world is I put there by wanting it, that's what I wanted. If there's a little discomfort, just go ahead and go, okay, I put it there, and what would I like to see? What would I like to hear? Well, I'd like to see peace. I'd like to see abundance. I'd like to see joining instead of separateness. And so just go straight into what would I like to see. Okay? And then, so he says, when you think you are projecting what you don't want, it is still because you do want it. In other words, if you are seeing something outside yourself, I don't want that. I didn't put that into the world by wanting it. I didn't want that. I would never ask for that. It says, you still do want it. So it's your opportunity to get out of denial. You still do want it. Just because you threw it out into the world, because you didn't want to believe that you wanted something like that, doesn't mean that that's not how it got there. Doesn't mean you got rid of it. So the Course tells us that the reason that I see anger, guilt, and grievances in the world is because I did not want to accept that in myself. And so I projected it out. I'm trying to throw it away into the world. I don't want to see that in myself. And he says, this leads directly to dissociation because it represents the acceptance of two goals, each goal perceived in a different place, separated from each other because you made them different. And that's why your mind sees a divided world outside itself, but not within. So I see a divided world outside myself, but not inside myself. Inside myself, I think I want only love. Inside myself, I think I just want only peace, and I'm only loving, and I'm only helpful. But I don't know why I see a world of people who are not loving and helpful at all. I mean, I see some loving people, and I see the rest, a lot of jerks. So I see a divided world outside of me, but inside me I think I'm all one. Like, we walk around in this state of denial about having a split mind, and then are so shocked when we see these outrageous things outside of us. We're so shocked when we see people in the world acting obnoxious or mean or doing crazy things. I just can't understand that, because I relate to myself as if I don't have a split mind myself, as if I'm only good, only kind, only loving, only peaceful, right? So I see a separated world outside myself and a unified world within. Because why? Because I've projected my split. I've projected. I'm in denial about having a split mind, right? I'm in denial about that.
Could our wanting, or it seems to me it would include, it's not that we want these things, it's that we believe them, that they're there. Mm-hmm. So you want that because you want to be right. Mm-hmm. Is how you want it. It's just that as long as you believe something's out there, you're going to see it. Mm-hmm. And that, I think that's where a lot of our confusion is. It's not that I want this disaster, but you do believe disaster is possible. So as long as that belief is within you, you're going to find something.
Right. And there is a part of me that does want fear. There's a part of me that values fear. There's a part of me that values competition. And there's a part of me that values sickness and death. And punishment.
She
does, see? Watch out. Exactly. Now, and when I see it outside myself and I judge it, or I become afraid of it, that which I see outside myself, It's letting me know that I am dissociating the split within my own mind. When I look out and I see jealousy and competition and anger and guilt and lack and disease, and I look out and I'm like, condemning it or like pushing it away, that's because I am trying to dissociate it from me. I'm trying to get rid of it from myself. If I wasn't trying to get rid of it from myself, I would look out on all that in the world, the sickness, the despair, the greed, the competitiveness, and I would go, oh, look, there's a manifestation of my own split mind. Look, there's my own greed. Look, there's my own competition. Look, there's my own fear. Oh, there's my guilt right there. Played out for me, right? That's how I would know that I wasn't trying to dissociate it from myself. When I'm ready to stop dissociating and being in denial about my own split mind, then I will claim it. I won't dissociate it, condemn it, separate myself from it. When I see it, I'll be like, wow, there's my own split mind, look at that. Oh, call for love, right? That's what I'll do when I'm ready to stop dissociating my own split mind. Now, when I am ready to stop dissociating my own split mind and take responsibility for what I see and see it as a call for love, then guess what? Then the split in me, it goes from this to this to this to this, where eventually I don't have a split mind, right? So when you think about it, like, what is a split mind? What is a split mind? When I say we all have a split mind, the split mind is a mind that says it wants one thing, but it shows that it wants another. Like us. I want only love. But what do I demonstrate? Do I demonstrate only love? So that's a split mind. It says one thing. It tells itself it wants one thing. It tells the world, I want this. But then its actions reveal a whole different thing. Right?
Is that like your shadow aspect?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the split is the denial that we're in about what a part of us really does want. Right? That's the split mind. Now, as we become more conscious and as we wake up and begin to see that there really is no split between what we're seeing and perceiving in our world and what we're wishing for within, as we begin to see that there's really that as within, so without, the split gets smaller. And that's what we're going for. We want the split, the dissociation within us, to get smaller. Because it's in that gulf of denial. You've heard of the Nile River? We got the Gulf of Denial. In this Gulf of Denial, when there's this huge gulf between what I say I want, what I think I'm thinking, and what I'm really thinking and what I really am asking for, in that gulf of division between the splits in my mind, the Course says that's where all the seeds of sickness grow. He said, literally, the seeds of sickness grow in that gulf, that split. Right? And the more that I take responsibility without blaming myself for what I see and what I'm experiencing, the smaller that gulf, that division becomes within my mind, and the less seeds of sickness can grow there. That's why that whole I am responsible for what I see I am choosing the feelings I experience, and I decided upon this goal that I am experiencing, and everything that seems to happen to me I've asked for and I've received exactly as I asked. That's why the Course says that is the core of salvation. That is true liberation. Because when you say that about everything that you're experiencing, the split within your mind gets smaller, like that. Yeah.
And is that also when you say, Holy Spirit, I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on around me. I don't know what's going on around me, only you know.
Absolutely, absolutely, because
so that you don't feel it.
That's exactly right, because when you say that, basically you've cleared the slate of your mind and you've opened your mind so that the guardian of true perception can then show you how you're experiencing only what you wished, only what you wanted in secret. You know, like the Course says, what we see as the outside external world is our secret wishes projected from us as we try to get rid of it, because we don't want that to be part of us. Even though we want it, we don't want it to be part of us. So we dissociate it. So all that I see is my secret wish. And more we're going to begin to see that our secret wish is for love and unity and peace. And that's the good news. That's what we're moving toward. So this is a curriculum in how to take responsibility for what you are perceiving without blame, so that your own split mind can be healed, which means unified. You know, every split mind needs rehabilitation, and that's why we need rehabilitation. We have a split mind. I'm divided in my own mind, right? I say I want to wake up and I say I want peace, but when I'm offered the means, I just can't get around to it, you know. I don't have time for it. I say I want love, but then I give something besides love to those around me. What's up with that? Right? I have a split mind, and a split mind is a sick mind. A split mind is a chaotic mind. Why? Because the mind's allegiance is going here to here to here to here to here. What can that lead to but confusion and chaos? Right? So we're trying to heal the split.
So when you heal the split, then you will see only love?
When you heal the split, you will want only love. And then you will see only love. Right now, I say I want only love, but I don't want only love. Right? I say I do, but I don't want only love. I want love and fear. How do I know? Well, because I go for it a lot.
What about love and material objects?
Yeah, I want love and things. You know, I want love and guilt. As a matter of fact, our ego tells us that, hey, you know, you need both. You need both. But, you know, the truth is that I don't want only love. And that's why I don't only experience love. But the healing of that wanting of something else, the Course calls it your will, your other will. You've heard of the other white meat. This is your other will. It says that when I recognize that whatever I'm experiencing represents my other will, the thing I also want, but in denial about, that's when I reclaim it. I take responsibility for it. It comes back into my own mind, into my own wishes, and there it is integrated and it is corrected. Right? That's.
I exaggerated to a friend the other day, which I recognize. And I seem to lie every once in a while if I'm not paying attention. And the lie will always try to make me look better.
Yeah. Yes.
And so I asked several people if they experienced that, because because it's like, quit doing that, Gary. I mean, there's no reason for it for the most part anyway. And so, but everybody I asked, they said they did it too. So did I only ask people that I wanted to witness the same flaw as I did?
It sounds to me like you wanted to see someone else. You wanted to heal the split in your own mind, and so you saw other people who also wanted to heal the split.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah. So, getting out of denial, telling the truth is another way of saying healing the split in my own mind. Right.
Wouldn't our guilt play in, I mean, when you say wanting only love, as long as you had any guilt about anything, you wouldn't think you deserved only love, would you?
That's right. That's right.
So that's part of that.
That's right.
You'd have to.
Okay, say that again, brother.
Well, as long as you have any guilt about anything, you think that you deserve punishment, something besides love. And to want only love would also mean that you think you deserve only love. And that's probably our major issue. Each time we have a small attack on anyone, that produces a twinge of guilt.
Absolutely. When you want something besides love, you can't help but also feel like you don't deserve only love. Well, we learned that fear has more power than love. That's why we still want fear, and that's why we still want attack and guilt, because we learned erroneously that fear has power, and that fear protects you, and that guilt makes you holy. So we learned to want it, not realizing, I don't want fear. I don't need fear. So we're in the habit of wanting fear and thinking that fear and guilt and attack has value, because we learned it has power to protect us and get us what we want. And that's why we're still wanting it. We want it because we still think it has power. We still think fear has power. I still think fear has power. I still think guilt has power. I still think attack has more power than love. I'm still working under the delusion that if I attack somebody else, I'm going to get what I want faster than if I just choose love. Right? And so that's why I still believe I want something besides love. And am seeing something besides love.
So it would be helpful to get to this place each time we recognize the belief in ourselves to really look at that.
Absolutely.
And do our best to undo it and say, do I really want this belief?
Exactly.
I certainly do have it.
Exactly. The whole purpose of the curriculum is that we connect what our senses tell us with what we were secretly wishing, or not so secretly, and then ask for correction. That's the whole curriculum right there. Make the connection between what your senses tell you and what you were secretly wishing, and then ask for the correction of whatever belief made you wish for that. That's how it goes. That's the formula for changing what you see. You want to change the world you experience? You want to change your life? You want to change this difficult, challenging experience? That's how change happens. Understand the laws of perception, the laws by which what you're seeing came about, and then ask for the correction of those wishes that produced it. And it requires radical responsibility. But the truth is that if you didn't have anything to do with that experience, then there is no way that you can change it. If you didn't have the power to create it, you don't have the power to change it. and for me, like this spiritual curriculum has been this process of going down layer after layer of that very acceptance, that very, I'm still like going down layer after layer, wondering how many layers there are, till I actually like do accept it once and for all and stop, delaying myself. But that's the process. One more layer of going, oh, I am responsible for what I'm experiencing. Okay, and that's my call for love. All right, and now what do I want now? What do I want to see now? What voice do I want to listen to now? Listening to the ego voice showed me that? Okay, well, what voice would I have to listen to now in order to see the opposite of that? That's the process. That's the curriculum. All right. Okay, so here we go. So now I'm going to read I'm going to finish that rest of that paragraph, which is just going to say what we've just been saying. When you think you're projecting what you don't want, it's still because you do want it. Now this leads directly to dissociation or denial, because this represents the acceptance of two goals, each goal perceived in a different place, separated from the other because you made them different. Then the mind sees a divided world outside itself, but not within. Now this gives the mind an illusion of integrity and enables your mind to believe that it is pursuing only one goal. Yet as long as you perceive the world as split, you are not healed. Because to be healed is to pursue one goal. Why? Because you have accepted only one goal and you want only one goal. How interesting. How interesting. As long as you see the world as split, that lets you know your mind is split, which means not healed. Wow. And so, and how interesting. To be healed is to pursue one goal. To remember, oh yeah, I only want one thing, and I'm only going to pursue one thing. Okay? All right, so paragraph 8. When you want only love, you will see nothing else. Period. Wow, there's some radical responsibility right there. So in this situation where I was seeing something besides love, I have to tell myself, I must not have wanted only love. Because if I really wanted only love in that situation, that's all I would have given. And guess what? That's all I would have received. Because I would have just translated whatever I saw into a call for love. When I want only love, I'll interpret whatever I see as either love or call for love, such that I'm seeing love no matter what. Okay, so that's an important point. When I want only love, I'm going to interpret what I see, whatever I see, in some loving terms, love or call for love. Okay? Such that whatever I'm seeing will be a way for me to experience love.
So a lot of this, our judgment, was us trying to say, what am I seeing and how do I react to it, when really there's no decision.
Right.
I mean, if somebody's loving you, the proper response is to love.
Right.
If somebody's giving you a call for love, the proper response is to love.
Is exactly
you
right.
don't even need any of that.
That's exactly right.
There's nothing to decide there.
Exactly. There's nothing to decide. And the reason I need healing is because I still think there's something to decide between. Which one should I choose? Let's see. Love or fear? Let's see. That's my split mind. That's why I'm still seeing a split world. Because I'm still split between which one should I choose? Let's see. What is it I'm seeing? Is it love or fear? Now, as we wake up, we realize there's nothing to choose. There's nothing to decide. It's all been decided already. And God has said, it's all good. It's all love. It's already been decided. What's going on is only love. What you're seeing is only love. What's happening is only love. And everything else is just a defense against that. So all we're ever seeing is love or a defense against it. Love or the fear of love. Love or a call for love. Still all love. Still all love. Well, and when I want only love, that's what I'll see. All right, so he says, when you want only love, you will see nothing else. The contradictory nature of the witnesses you see is merely the reflection of your conflicting invitations. See, you have looked upon your mind and you have accepted opposition there. You've accepted opposites in your mind. Because you wanted opposites in your mind. You wanted conflict in your mind. But don't then believe that the witnesses for opposition are true, because the witnesses to the conflict out there, they attest only to your decision about reality, returning to you the messages you gave them. Love, too, is recognized by its messengers, and if you make love manifest, its messengers will come to you because you invited them. All right. So, just because you see something out in the world and it seems to have form and it seems to have substance, that doesn't mean it's true. That just means that they're showing you, they're witnessing your decision about reality. Wow. So, just because you see it, don't mean it's real. It just means that's what you wanted to see. Wow. That's what it means. Not because you're not saying, oh, see, it's real. See, it's real. See, it's true. See, it is dangerous out there. See, other people are dangerous. See, you do have to be careful about other people. See? It's not like that. Their witness is just showing you what you believe about yourself.
It's an interesting phrase, your decision about reality.
Yes.
There's nothing to decide.
Mm-hmm.
Reality is, you don't have to decide
That's right.
anything yet.
That's right.
We think we do.
That's right. Exactly. What if in your encounters or your situations, you stepped into them like this? There's nothing here for me to decide. Wow.
It's very simple.
Yeah, wow. Woo, there's nothing here for me to decide. It's the same as saying, there's nothing here for me to judge.
Well, isn't there always something to decide whether you're interested or not?
Only.
I mean, I'm not interested in everything.
Right, no. He says, the only reason that there is something to decide now is because you had decided wrongly. And because you have decided wrongly, now there is a need for you to decide rightly. And
Would you just say that again?
don't make me say that again. That was terrible.
No,
That was good.
Grammar.
We have to
And
decide.
got it.
it did make sense, but I just didn't get it.
Okay, there really is nothing to decide between. There's nothing to decide. There's only one reality that's true for everyone in all space and time. But because we made up opposites, and we put opposites in our mind, there's no opposites, there's only one reality, and that's love. Well, we made an opposite, and we made opposites in our mind, and we put opposition in our mind. In other words, we adopted the belief in opposites. There's no opposites, there's only one, but we made up the belief in opposites, and so now we believe that there's opposites to choose from. We made up choice. And then Holy Spirit goes, okay, fine, well, I can use whatever you made, even in your deepest insanity, it's still nothing to me. So even though you made up opposites, love and fear, and you think they're real, and you think that you need to choose between them and decide, and your decision's important for establishing reality, even so, says Holy Spirit within us, I will show you how to use choice, and I will show you how to use decision. Since you think there's something to decide between, and that your decision is important, and you think that your decision is important to establishing reality, great. Why don't you decide for love? Or why don't you decide to give me the power to decide for God for you? Since you think there's something to decide, and you love to decide, since you love to judge. So since you love to decide, you think your decision's important, then great. Decide for love. Decide to let Holy Spirit decide for you. So he says, so instead of going into situations and relationships going, well, what do I need to decide between love or fear? Here's what you should decide. You should say, Holy Spirit, decide for God for me. So we use the power of our decision, which we made, to ask our loving right mind to decide for us. So I take my power of decision, and then I give it to Spirit to decide for me. And he says, that is your formula for success in any situation. In any situation, your formula for a miracle, should you want one, is this. Go, there is nothing to decide. Holy Spirit, loving right mind, decide for love for me. You decide. You decide. You decide. You decide for me. Holy Spirit, decide for God for me. Love, decide for peace for me. Abundance, decide for abundance for me. Right? Eventually, when the split is healed, I will know there ain't nothing to decide. Because I will know that there is no opposites. There is no opposite to love. That's a joke. There's an opposite to love. Well, how special is that? I'm so special, I made an opposite to love. And now I got to be afraid of it. Right? When we wake up and the split is healed, we'll know that there is no opposite to love. Fear is a dream. It's not real. And so I don't need to be afraid of anything. I just need to wake up to what is so. Now, that may seem esoteric, but the truth is it's completely practical. Because when you walk into a situation or an encounter with that awareness, there ain't nothing for me to decide. I don't got to decide whether this person's good, bad, or right, or wrong, or stupid, or smart. I don't have to decide any of that. I don't have to decide what it means. I don't have to decide anything. Because, hey, only love is here. And only love is real. And only love is what's going down. And only love is who they are and who I am. And there is nothing to decide. I don't have to decide between me and them. Can you imagine having an encounter with another human being and you know you don't have to decide between you or them? Who's going to be right? Who's going to be wrong? Who's going to have most power? Who's going to not have power? Who's going to have control? Who's not going to have control? Wow. What a relief. Now you can have a good time. Now you can enjoy each other. Now you can accept the gift that Holy Spirit has for that particular encounter. Holy Spirit, your loving right mind, has a gift to give to any two people anytime they meet. Because that meeting is not an accident, right? And so in any encounter, we could go, Holy Spirit, what is the gift that you gave into this encounter? And you could accept it. But you can't accept it while you're trying to decide between you and them. Who's right? Who's wrong? Who's in control? Who has power? Right? And so when you come together and you remember, hey, there's nothing to decide, it's already all been decided, you know, this is a holy encounter, you can accept the gift the Holy Spirit gave to that specific encounter. That's a pretty radical idea, isn't it? That no encounter is accidental. No encounter is accidental. Every encounter is a total setup by love, by Holy Spirit. Every single one of them was a setup. It's a setup. And it's a setup for your good. It's a setup for your good. Love wants to give you some good. Love wants to give you your good. And love knew that if you would meet with this person at this time, that maybe he could get you your good. He'd give you some more of your good.
But isn't it all kind of a projection of what we see? Like, you know, you've said one time before, like, you know, anybody that we see is just kind of like this big reflection of ourselves, you know, aspects of ourselves.
Well, you could see that person as God created them, or you can see your projection of them. So I can see them as they are, or I can just project my wishful thinking and plaster it on their face and put it in their voice box. Right? So I would prefer to see them who they really are. You know, and I will see an aspect of myself. I just won't be seeing a mask I have plastered on their face. You know, that looks strangely similar to somebody in my past. Right?
So by your description there, each time I run into anyone, I either choose to compete or to join with.
Right.
Each and every time.
Right.
And all that's happening is often we choose to compete.
Yeah.
And as we choose to join and we see that it feels better,
Right.
then we'll choose it again and again. We're just adopting a new habit.
Exactly. Just a new habit. Just a new habit, which is a new perspective.
Because this is a nicer choice. Let's go there.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm learning how to refine what I want. I'm just refining what I want. Just refining it. Mm-hmm.
If we experience love, because I think I've experienced love three days in my life. And when I experience that, it seems like everything else is less than that. It seems like a judgment. Because, I mean, and I know it one-on-one that there can be some really powerful stuff going on. But if I experience love, it includes all of you. It isn't a one-on-one type thing.
Right. Well,
okay.
yeah, well, it starts with a decision with another. And then you realize.
So it grew from that?
Mm-hmm. Possibly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But why would, if you, I'm still confused to this day. I have a hard time believing that I'm choosing not to keep experiencing that. I mean, it seems like
There's
the
your
ultimate
challenge.
bullshit. Why would I not choose that?
Because we're in denial about that we have a split mind, right? So now the course is like, why would I choose separation? Well, why did you choose it today? Why did you choose it today when you were standing in line and got irritated at the person behind the counter? Same reason, you know. So, you know, once we stop denying that we obviously think we want something else, we don't want only love. He says, you know, that's what he's talking about. That's how we heal the split in our mind. I go, wow, obviously I don't want only love. And that's why I'm seeing not only love. And the part of us that is saying, well, I wouldn't choose that. I don't want that. That's the part of us that doesn't want the split healed. So, and the part of us that does want the split healed goes, yeah, well, I don't want only love. I know I don't because look, I just chose something else. And that's my call for love. It's just a mistake. It doesn't mean I'm not loving or lovable. It just means I want something else. And it's a mistake, and it's my call for love. All right. Paragraph 9.
One more quick question.
Okay, no, actually, let me just move on. Okay. The power of decision is your one remaining freedom as prisoner of this world. Wow. Oh, see how the Course talks? It says we're a prisoner of this world. Wow. Our one remaining freedom as prisoner of this world is the power of decision. What does that mean? It means you can decide to see this world right. Wow. What you made of this world is not this world's reality, thank God, because this world's reality is only what you give it. You cannot really give anything but love to anyone or anything, nor can you really receive anything but love from them, if love is all there is. If you think you have received anything else but love, it's just because you have looked within and thought you saw the power to give something else within yourself. And it was only this decision that determined what you found, because it was the decision for what you sought. Wow. Interesting. Okay, so how did we imprison ourselves? How did we imprison ourselves? We made opposites. We made the concept of opposites that would clash, that would conflict with each other. What do opposites do? Especially when they're in one mind. They conflict. That's how we imprisoned ourselves. We gave ourselves a conflicted mind. We gave ourselves a mind that fights with itself, that fights within itself. A mind that does one thing and then something else does the opposite. That's what it means to be a prisoner. I have conflict in my mind, right? That's what it means to be a prisoner. But
wouldn't you want to do that if you're ever going to change your mind?
Wouldn't I want to do what?
I want to change my mind sometimes, so I need that opposite to say, oh, maybe this is a little better.
Well, the Course says that Spirit gave you, since you made opposites, meaning you made conflict. You made something that conflicts with something else.
I can't believe that would ever go away.
Okay. All right.
I mean, otherwise I might as well just die right now
No,
the way
listen.
I am, right?
What I'm saying is that since you made opposites that you think you have to decide between, then Holy Spirit, in His ever-loving compassion, said, great, I'm going to give you change. And it's going to be a gift. It's called the gift of change. It's called the gift of the power of decision. You think there's something to decide? Great. Here. Now use your power of decision. Remember, you have the power of decision. Your power is of decision. I mean, in other words, you made decision to lock you into hell. That was your choice. Holy Spirit gave you a way to use the power of decision to free you. And now your power to decide is your freedom. Freedom. Your financial freedom, your physical freedom, your relationship freedom, your freedom in this world. Your only freedom, meaning what? My power to choose something else, my power to experience something else, my power to experience whatever I want. My freedom is my power to decide. You don't like the way you feel? Decide otherwise. You don't like the way this is? Decide otherwise. That's your one remaining freedom as prisoner of what you made. Wow. So it's powerful. It's really powerful. I mean, it's basically showing us the way out of anything that feels like it and that feels like a prison. You know, sometimes my body feels like a prison. Sometimes my financial situation feels like a prison. Sometimes my relationship feels like a prison. Sometimes just being here on planet Earth feels like prison. He's showing us how simple is our escape from the prison we made for ourselves. And that way out is the power of decision, and reminding us you still have power of decision. No matter what prison you've put yourself in, you will never lose your real freedom. You will always have a power that can take you out of out of prison, and it is your power of decision. Nothing can take away from you your power of decision. And so we want to say to ourselves, this financial situation cannot take away my power of decision. This relationship issue cannot take away my power of decision. This physical issue cannot take away my power of decision. And I decide that love should decide for me. Right? And that's your freedom out.
Well, wasn't it our power of decision that made the situation
That's right.
to begin with?
That's exactly right. Exactly. Your power of decision puts you in prison, and your power of decision gets you out. And anything else besides that we try to use to make us free, anything else we try to use to free ourselves from this limiting situation that feels like a prison, ain't gonna work. It's just going to delay our imprisonment. If you try to get the world to change, and you try to get yourself to be a better person, and you try to get other people to change, and you try to rearrange the furniture in your prison, try to put up some nice drapes in your prison, it won't work. The only thing that frees you from a limiting situation is to utilize the power of your decision. And then that means going like this. I'm going to use my power of decision. I still have power of decision. Okay, and it was my power of decision that got me in this jam. That's the first part of it. And in my power of decision, I now ask love to decide for freedom from this for me. I now ask love to decide for truth for me. And that's real freedom. That's our one remaining freedom as prisoner of this world. Now, you're not really a prisoner of the world, but it sure does feel like it, doesn't it? Sure does feel like it. Wow, I mean, there are some days where I'm like, boy, I will be glad to wake up from this dream. I am so glad this world only endures but an instant, as the Course says. I'm so glad that this world endures only for an instant, as the Course says. As a workbook lesson, only an instant does this world endure. What a relief. I'm so glad about that. That is such a relief. Because it does seem like prison. You know, it seems like a dream of limits. Limit here, limit there, this limit, that limit. The body itself is a limit. The body was made to be a prison house. Great. All right. Have a nice day. All right. Shall we go on?
We've really disassociated ourselves from all this. We don't realize
Please.
the power, do we?
Please don't make me hear about freedom. Please don't remind me that it's really a choice I can make any moment, any time. No, because that's not what I was telling myself about this situation. I was not telling myself I made it, that this is a manifestation of my wishes, and only I'm keeping myself in it. Don't tell me that. I'm waiting for you to tell me how somebody else should change. I'm waiting for you to tell me how to change other people. Don't tell me that I'm sitting in my own jail cell that I made and the door is open and that I could walk out right now, should I choose. Because that would mean that I was crazy.
Well, yeah.
And I'm sitting here trying to fake it and fake people out that I'm not crazy. I'm trying to hide that I'm crazy. I don't want people to know I'm insane. I'm trying to look normal. I'm trying to look sane. So I don't like hearing that I'm in a prison cell that I made and sitting in here complaining and the door's wide open. Because that would mean that for me to sit here and stay here would mean that I'm insane. Meaning I want to be in prison. That's why part of us doesn't jump up for joy when we hear that we're still free. All right.
So, it's,
Yes.
it's, there isn't much of a alternative to us that we see in this world. So it's hard to, I mean, I agree with what you're saying, we're in a prison and the door's open.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, that's all we can see is the prison.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't think it's a prison. And we can't see the alternative.
Right.
So why would we ever be attracted to it to walk out the door?
Right. Well, you may not have seen the alternative till now, because we are being shown the alternative. But there's a part of us that's like, la 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 la. I don't hear what you say. We don't see an alternative. We don't see an alternative to this prison. But we are being shown an alternative in this form that's incredibly compelling. We are being given the vision of the alternative. And this isn't the only vision of it, but we are being shown the alternative. And it's just like we said, when I'm really sick and tired of feeling like a prisoner to this situation, this financial situation, this physical situation, this relational situation, when I'm really sick and tired of feeling like I'm imprisoned by it, and I really want the freedom that I hear is possible, then I will see alternatives all around me. Everywhere I'll go, I'll be like, there's a free person. There's a free person. Look, there's two free people together in a relationship. Wow, there's a free person. I will see it. I mean, the Course in Miracles says that when you want to see only love, you're going to see that love is even here, everywhere. And that, he says, the real world is here too. It's here too. And that if I had eyes to see it, if I had the desire for only that, I literally would be here and see a whole nother world. There's people who are here on this planet experiencing heaven on earth. They're here, but they don't see it as a prison. They're here, but they're not in prison. And they're experiencing heaven here. But we are walking around going, this is all there is, this is all there is. There couldn't possibly be an alternate reality here also. But he's saying, yes, there is, and that when you want only that, when you want only love, then you will see another world. Right here. That's what I'm going for.
But it is a process, right, Anna? Because you choose time and again until you really see it, because you're afraid of it.
Right.
So, it can be, but usually it's not.
That's right.
Something that, you ask the Holy Spirit, choose for God, for you. I don't know how many times during the day, like I did today, but it didn't lift.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that I'm not saying that, the answer is not there.
Mm-hmm.
The answer is there, but I cannot see it because
Right.
I'm still too scared.
Right. The Course says that salvation is immediate. It's immediate because love is all there is. But it seems to be in the future because we're not sure we want only that yet. And so it seems to take time. So as far as happiness and salvation and liberation seems to be in the future, that's your measure of how much you want it or not. And I hate that too. Why? Because I am dissociating the split in my own mind. I think I want only happiness. So I'm like, I don't know why I don't experience, bliss and liberation right now, because that's all I want. I'm dissociating my own split. And so I see the split, I see everybody else outside me not wanting it, but in my own mind I'm like, but I do want it. I've dissociated that part of me that doesn't want it. I'm in denial. So what brings it closer is the realization that that's all you want, and that taking responsibility for the sight of anything else. When you see something outside, you go, oh yeah, I guess I still want fear too. And then the more that you take responsibility for what you see outside yourself, ask for correction, and remember that what you want is really only love, only truth, then the liberation comes closer. Liberation is not in the future, according to the Course. Salvation is not in the future. It's immediate. It just seems to be out there in time because I'm not sure I want it. Now, I know I got a split mind because my ego's like, I want it now. No, it's the world that's keeping it from me, right? So, but I bring it closer by going, yeah, I don't only want love. I don't only want love. I don't want to only give love in my relationship. Come on. I got to protect myself, I got to get what's mine, And if I give only love, I'll be taken advantage of. I'll lose myself. Right? So I need to get out of denial. I don't want only love. I do believe fear and attack is valuable for giving me what I think I also want. So, all right. So it's a few minutes till, it's 8:45. I'm going to stop here. All right. Okay. So we're passing around the love offering basket. In the pages that I gave you are 2 announcements of events that I'm facilitating, and then donation guidelines. And I just wanted to give those to you so that I don't have to announce them. So I'll announce 2 things, and they're both there. One is for the next 6 Sundays, I'm facilitating a new group called the Listeners Club, and you have a handout for it. It's the one that says mission, purpose, and the purpose of that class is to help us to train and developing the listening mechanisms in our consciousness and in our brains. Okay? So, if listening to the voice of your guides and teachers, so the voice of Holy Spirit, is your way out of imprisonment, then it makes sense to me to learn how to listen to that voice or voices. So that's what that class is about. I want to increase my ability to hear the voice of my guides and teachers so that I can escape faster, so that I can get my answers faster, so that I can experience my peace faster. The only thing that delays me receiving my answers and my peace and my abundance and my healing is because I ain't listening to the voice that has the answers. I'm listening to something else. I'm talking to my own self. So I want to increase increase my own ability to listen. And so that's why I'm facilitating the Listeners Club. So it's every Sunday, 6:30, and the address is on the flyer. Okay? And the other one is the Imago Dialogue, the Dialogue Cafe. You also have a flyer for that too. All right, and also,
When does it start?
it started last night, and then it will go through the end of December. So that is 6:30 each Sunday. So just, 6 more weeks? All my classes are on YouTube. So if you want to see any of my classes, let's say you can't make it, you can go to YouTube, put in my name, and you can find my classes. If you want to share a class, you can find it on YouTube and send it on. Also, if you haven't already, you can check out my website that has information about my holistic counseling practice. All right, and that's on Kujawa.com. Any other questions or comments before we close? Oh, one other. I have my readings on the piano. So this is readings from the original edition. So most of you guys have the edited version. And this is the original edition that has a ton of stuff that got edited out at some point. And so it's got some amazing stuff in it. All I'm doing is reading it to music, and I highly recommend them as powerful healing devices. I use them when I don't have what it takes in the moment. It seems like I don't have the ability to listen to the voice for truth and love in myself. My ego is so loud. If I can't do it myself, I throw in a CD and I let it think for me. It's my way of letting in a stream of truth, even when my ego is just like fighting against me hearing the voice for love. So for me, they're healing devices. Okay? When I'm insane, I put one on by my bedside and I lay in bed and I listen. Sometimes when I can't fall asleep, I'll put one on and I say to my ego, if you don't let me fall asleep, ego, I'm going to listen to every single word on that CD. I'm going to listen to every single word. I'm going to pay attention. And then I'm asleep in 5 minutes.
How much do you charge for your?
They're 10 apiece. And I have their chapters 1 through 11. So, and there's some amazing stuff in there that's not in the edited version. So, I highly recommend those as healing devices. All right. So, with that, let's do our integration meditation. All right, just getting my music going here. All right, so just go ahead and close your eyes. And just take a breath. And just allow your awareness to sink down into that quiet place within you. That quiet place within you where the body ceases to demand your attention. And just tune into how you feel right now, having heard these ideas tonight. Just tune in. How do you feel? How does it feel to have heard these ideas tonight? And just breathe in that feeling. Let that feeling soak into your bones and your muscles and the cells of your body. Let the truth soak in, layer by layer. physical body, the emotional body, the spiritual body. Take note of how the truth feels when you hear it. And take note of how it feels to hear the truth with others. Beautiful. And now I want you to bring to your awareness a situation or a relationship that you experienced in the last week or so, in which you experienced conflict. A situation or relationship in which you were just sure that the problem was it or them. And looking upon that situation or that relationship, let's do what this section reminded us to do, and to see if you can make the connection between what you were seeing outside yourself and what you may have been feeling within. Had there been mistrust or anger or guilt within even before that situation or relationship? Make the connection. See in that situation your own split mind. Notice that that person and their ego is just like your ego. And say over that situation or over that relationship, I'm seeing a picture of my own inner wishes. This is what I wished to see, because this reflects how I feel about myself. Tell yourself, I'm not seeing reality in this situation. I'm just seeing my wishes, my beliefs. And then just step back a pace from that situation or relationship in your mind's eye. And then remind yourself, my power of decision is my one remaining freedom in this situation. My power of decision, my power of decision is my freedom in this situation. And then ask yourself, now, what would I like to decide again? My power of decision showed me this. And what would I like to decide for now? And decide again. What do I want to decide for now? And with whom do I want to decide now? This time, I decide for the love that has no opposite. This time, I decide that I want only love in this situation. Love, decide for peace for me. Use your power of decision. Use your power of decision. Choose once again. Back to the room, back to your body. All right. Yay,
Thank you.
course. All right. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you. Thank you for helping me to do what it says to do. Thank you.